So I am going to hold up this candle. We're going to invite you to think of anything that might be distracting you from our time together. Try to sum it up in one word and call it out.
Heat.
Heat.
Money.
Mosquitoes, money, the world, everything, COVID. All right. Politics, okay? Anything else? Texas. All right, the entire state of Texas is now in the candle. All right. So we're going to blow it out until the end of our time together, and then we will candle out. So for COVID safety, I'll blow, and everyone else just wish air toward the candle. All right. And Jen is now going to introduce our first reading this evening.
All right, my friends, I'm so excited that we're turning 20 years old, you guys. It's so
one more year and we can drink.
It's pretty mind-blowing to me to think back on that day a little over 20 years ago. I'm probably going to cry, y'all, but you know that about me. A little over 20 years ago when Shannon and Trina and I were driving back from a weekend of contra dancing at the Dance Flurry in Saratoga Springs, New York, and they asked me, we're incorporating Looking for Lilith to become a nonprofit, and we need another person to sign the incorporation papers. Will you be our third board member? And of course I said yes. Little did I know that the whole trajectory of my life would change on that day and continue down this path. And I could not be prouder to be a part of such a tenacious, creative, and compassionate community. LFL, Looking for Lilith, has persevered through a terrorist attack, a move to a new city, a recession, at least one, probably two or three, the founders all transitioning to parenthood, which for many artists, especially women artists, is a time when they leave the arts as a profession. We've persevered through some budget deficits. We've persevered through the illness and death of one of our friends and colleagues. And we have persevered through two different times when two different founding members moved to another country for a while. And now, 20 years later, we are thriving through a global pandemic. And that's because you all have been supporting us from the beginning. Being a part of this talented, compassionate community of artists, see, I'm going to cry, y'all now, is one of the greatest honors of my life. And I'm so thrilled to be able to share with you all tonight just a little snippet of our timeline from the very first Lilith show we created 20 years ago until the shows that we just finished. So, without further ado, I am going to invite, I believe it's Emily and Laura, to the stage to read a scene from Crossing Mountains. Crossing Mountains is the first ever Looking for Lilith show that we were creating in 2001. This show premiered at the YWCA in New York City, Lexington and 76th Street, I think, just a few months after 9/11, and this show is one of our favorites. So we're going to start to hang out with our old friends today, and I give you Miss Carrie and Rebecca.
Oh, hello. I hope I'm not disturbing you.
You can come in, but I'm real busy.
It's so nice to finally meet you. I'm Miss Carrie.
Rebecca Cottle.
I'm sure you're wondering why I've come all the way out here. Well, it's about your daughters. I've missed seeing Lizzie down at the school. She was doing such good work. I was wondering if perhaps she was ill?
Ma'am, I need my daughter here with me. And there's too much snow and cold now for her to go traipsing down your way to learn how to set a table. She has plenty to do right here.
Oh, ma'am, I understand. It is getting very cold now. And that's another reason why I've come. I wanted to invite her to come and live down at the school with us for the winter months so that she can keep up with her studies. She has been learning so much.
What has she been learning so much of? Me and their pa teach him all she needs to know right here. The way I see it, we've done right by her whole life, and I don't see no call to change that now.
Well, the world is changing now, very quickly.
Is it?
Yes, it is, and we simply desire to help prepare your daughter and the people of the mountains for these changes. And you and your husband have done a wonderful job with Lizzie. She's a wonderful girl.
Yes, she is.
But there's simply no way that you could have prepared her for the changes that will be coming into the mountains. I'm sure you've done the best you could with what you have, but...
And what don't I have?
Well, we're teaching your daughter to read. And that gift will help prepare her for this new world.
You want to prepare her? Well, it seems to me like all you're teaching our daughter is to be embarrassed over Pa and me. Telling us we don't cook our food right, and we don't keep our house right, and why don't we better ourselves?
Oh, ma'am.
If you think that she should be right proud that you come to save her, you need to know this. I'm proud of the world she has with me. I'm mighty proud of the world that she's living in right now. Not one of you queer women has a man or a real home to run, so you can't in no way prepare my daughter.
Mrs. Caudle, I never meant to offend you or your home. I'm simply trying to offer a gift to Lizzie of room and board for the winter months. She has a bright and creative mind, as I'm sure you know, and we want to offer her an opportunity for change, a change in her life.
The way I
for the
see
better.
it, now I see exactly what you're saying. You see it that me and Lizzie could change. Well, if you want to change me, that says something to me about what you think of the person I am now. And what you think of the person I have been before you came along. And what that says about what you think is insult. Have a safe trip back down the mountain, Miss Carrie.
Crossing Mountains was created in partnership with the Hindman Settlement School. Shannon and Trina went there and spent the summer there and went through all of their archives and interviewed people from that community to create that show. I forgot to say that before they started. So now we're moving on to What My Hands Have Touched, American Women in World War II, which was a show that was created in New York City. It was created after interviewing our great aunts, our grandmothers, people that we knew who had lived during that time. I'm going to make sure I read what it says here so I don't miss anything. We were living and working in New York City during and after September 11th, and when the U.S. entered the Second Gulf War. And we were very aware now how different the national sentiment of unity had been in the 1940s. We wanted to capture these stories of the greatest generation while we still had members of the greatest generation with us. So today we're going to hear from Grace, played by Sarah Canary.
I'm proud to say I work in a parachute factory now. I'm a folder. That means it's my job to fold the parachute into the pack. We work quickly but very carefully. We are very well aware, that the slightest mistake could cost a man his life. That life could be a friend's husband, brother, father, or son. The fate of so many in the hands of women. I fold every chute with care, pride, and compassion. I do it for the boys over there. I do it for Francis. Because every man one of my chutes floats safely to the ground is one less that she and the other nurses have to put back together. Now I do it for Lee, too, and I do it for Esther and Burl and all the women all over the country, some were working in factories just like mine, who are waiting for their boys to come home and hoping they come home in one piece. You know, they reuse the parachutes. After they're used, they send them back to be cleaned, repaired, and repacked. I used to work in cleaning and repair, and sometimes the chutes come out of the bags with Sometimes it's just a little spatter, and sometimes it covers the whole shoot. And then we pray. We pray and we pray and pray that that blood was not spilled because we dropped the ball.
The third show that we created in 2004 began as we started talking with our mothers, the founders' mothers, who were women who were in college during the height of second wave feminism, specifically women who entered college in the mid-60s when strictly gendered social rules were the norm and left 4 years later in a world that felt like it had been turned upside down. This piece also led us to deeply explore the limits and flaws of second wave feminism and how the experiences of Black and brown women were often erased and subjugated to white privilege. This excerpt from Class of 70 includes a glimpse into dorm life from the viewpoint of a house mother and a scene between a professor and a student who is in her consciousness-raising group.
Good evening, ladies. I am Maud Applebottom, your house mother. Welcome to your first dorm meeting here in Stanton Hall as your in loco parentis. Does each of you know her Latin? In loco parentis means parent on location. So, I need to make sure that you are aware of the house rules here to ensure that there are no slip-ups. Good. We begin with the subject of dress code.
Slacks are not permitted on young women in public at any time.
Yes, dear.
Well, I'm playing on the intramural volleyball team, and I have class right before it. Is it okay to wear my uniform to class so that I won't be late?
Heavens, dear. I must impart to you a firm no. You may wear your uniform underneath your skirt or a closed raincoat only. Next, on the list is the subject of curfews.
Your curfew will be 10 p.m. on weeknights and 11 p.m. on weekends, strictly enforced.
For every minute you are late, you will be campused one weekend night. Clear? Good. I will be at the door to ensure proper use of the dating booths. Surely you noticed these, yes? You may sign them out to use with your date until 11:45 on weekends for a bit of privacy. But be advised that all 4 feet must remain on the floor at all times. I can see under the curtain, and I do check. Keep in mind that propriety is sacred to a lady, and keep your goodnight kisses brief. Yes?
How can we use the booths until 11:45 if curfew is at 11?
Well, you will already be back in the dormitory, so your curfew will not be broken.
But what about the guys' curfew?
Oh, don't worry, dear. You won't be getting them in trouble. The men have no curfew.
Somehow, I never thought this would actually happen to me, you know? I keep on hoping that this whole situation would just go away, end. I really don't want to leave school, but...
Okay, let's slow down. First off, it doesn't sound like you are ready to have a baby in your life.
Right. But here I am, and I have to deal with it somehow. I really don't want to leave school, but I don't know if I can do both. Do you think I can?
I don't know, Regina. Maybe. But it would be really hard. And you have a world of possibility open to you, and having a baby would close some of those doors. Have you considered your other options other than dropping out of school?
I did consider adoption, but you know how hard it is for a black baby to get adopted?
There's another option to consider.
Like what?
Alright, well, I can only put this bluntly. You know you don't have to have the baby, right?
What? Abortion? No, I can't.
If it's a question of money, I can help you.
No, but isn't it illegal?
Yeah, but you and I both know it shouldn't be. And there are ways to get around that now. Have you heard of Jane?
No, not just that it's illegal, but people die too, you know.
Jane is really, really safe. It's an underground operation where women, not doctors with coat hangers, are performing safe, more humane abortions. My cousin used them when she had to have an abortion.
Yeah, well, my cousin was sterilized at 14, remember?
Regina, look. I'm really sorry about your cousin. That's horrible what they did to her. You are not living her life. You are living your life. I understand how hard this is for you, but
Please don't pretend you know what it's like for me. At my house, in my neighborhood, we are good mothers. We have been good mothers for generations. And now you sit in front of me and tell me to consider my options? To just be logical and have an illegal abortion? Snap. Just like that. Well, Mary, it's not easy.
I never said it was easy.
You think you know my situation so well, but you don't know anything. I don't get to have easy decisions. My life's not based on privilege. I've had to fight for everything that was given to you. And you think I should have the right to choose? Well, then let me. You don't get to impose your standards of living on me.
I'm not impressed. I'm trying to help. I've seen a lot of women's dreams ruined because they had a baby when they weren't ready. So excuse me for trying to tell you about options you didn't know you had.
Yeah, well, thanks, Professor.
Ladies, I am calling this dorm-wide meeting to announce recent changes that are reflected in our policies. Slacks, sadly, are now permissible on campus. However, I encourage all of you to seriously consider the occasion on which you choose to wear these boyish garments. I doubt your date would appreciate it if he begins to confuse you with his fraternity brothers. Speaking of dates, if you are escorted by a young man back to your dorm, the university administration and their progressive agenda seems to feel that your date should be permitted to escort you to your respective rooms. However, all doors must remain open for the entire duration of your date stay, and 1 foot of each individual must be in contact with the floor at all times. Please, ladies, I beg of you, have some integrity for your own sake.
Oh boy. Okay, here comes my favorite one.
Oh, great. No pressure. No pressure.
In 2005, we created our first one-woman show in which I had the honor of portraying 18 different women of various ages, nationalities, and experiences, talking about their experiences in Iraq. One of these was my cousin, Rochelle Shannon House Bloom, who served as an Air Force loadmaster.
I knew from the moment I could say airplanes that I wanted to fly airplanes. The minute I started flying in the Air Force, I knew that this is what I wanted to do for the rest of my life. My main mission was to haul people and supplies in and out of Iraq. I did get the opportunity to haul some of the Iraqi soldiers out for their training. It's funny because you have two reactions. One reaction was to look right past me and ignore the fact that I even existed. The ones who are so diehard in their beliefs, which there's nothing wrong with that. That's their beliefs. It's just that, I have no place in the military, much less talking to them, directing them. And then the others were kind of like looking, I would say, but it sounds kind of silly, kind of like looking at a movie star, because they were like, holy cow, a red-headed woman in uniform with a gun in her hand. That's something that they have never seen. The Iraqi citizens I did meet were amazingly thankful. I mean, they were telling me, it was the first time in their lives that they could wake up and step outside, not have to worry about, being killed. My mission changed pretty much on a daily basis, depending on what I hauled. I flew a young man's body out of Iraq in the back of my airplane. As a loadmaster, it's my job to stay back there and watch over, strap the coffin down correctly, and there's a whole lot of pomp and circumstance that goes with hauling a body. It was incredibly emotional, and it was very dark back there, and it's just a very surrealistic moment just to sit back there and, the doors behind armor, just sitting there, staring at the flag-draped coffin. It was pretty, I've never been so upset, yet so proud in my life. I always wanted to be in the Olympics, stand on that podium, see my flag, hear my national anthem, all that stuff. I always wanted to be part of that. And that moment, sitting next to that coffin, I felt more proud of that than I could if I'd been in the Olympics, I think. I'm used to pick up your own trash. But it's not trash. That's not what I meant.
In 2003 to 2004, I was the other founding member who left the country, and I went to live in Guatemala for a year. And one of the other volunteers that was with me in Guatemala was a writer, a journalist, and early on in our time in Guatemala, she was asking me what I do, and I was telling her about Lilith and all that stuff, and she was like, we should write a play about our experience in Guatemala. So we did. And it's called Extranjeros, and it's about a volunteer from the U.S. who comes to live with a family in Guatemala, in rural Guatemala, out in the country. And let's meet Lydia and Ani.
Chiri, buenas tardes.
Buenas tardes.
Where are you, Annie?
Aquí, in my room.
Ay, Annie, siempre estudiando. What are you studying today?
Pues, I'm not really studying, I'm just writing.
Just writing? Oh, una carta al norte.
No, I'm just writing in my journal.
¿Qué es journal?
It's, pues, mi libro personal.
Personal book. Oh, where you write your plans for the work you will do for the church.
I still don't have an assignment from the church. Mostly I just write what I'm thinking. Or I write about what happened that day.
Sus secretos.
Pues, sometimes secrets. But not really, though. It's just, my thoughts.
Ojalá que no escribe de mí.
Hi, Lydia, no, don't worry. I only write about you sometimes.
Ay, ¿me ayuda con las tortillas? Or are you too busy writing about me to help me make tortillas?
I'll be right there.
I wonder what she is writing. She is always writing, always alone. Me da pena. It makes me a little nervous. She seems happier than she was before, but I know that our poor house must make her sad. In all the mud, all the work we have to do. She says she wants to help, but she does not know what she is saying. How can she know? She doesn't even have a husband. But if she's here por el trabajo de Dios, to do God's work.
I'm ready.
Ah, muy bien. Let's start making bolitas.
Okay, I can do that.
So now, Annie makes bolitas and she washes in la pila. You must have a huge pila at your house in el norte, like the public one in la Plaza Central.
Oh, actually, we don't have one.
You don't have a pila? But I thought you lived in a nice house, Annie.
No one has a pila in the United States.
How do you wash your clothes and dishes?
Well, most people have washing machines and dishwashers, but sometimes my dad washes the non-stick pots and pans in the sink.
Your dad washes the pans. Is something wrong with your mom?
Actually, she doesn't live with us.
Where does she live?
She lives in Atlanta. It just didn't really work out between my parents. I guess my mom wasn't happy with my dad. At least that's what she says.
Men should stay with their families. A lot of men here leave and have other families, or they go to el norte.
Oh, actually, my mom left my dad.
How does your mother pay for food?
Oh, well, she works in a law firm. Como abogada. And she actually sends money to me and my dad sometimes. That's an interesting juxtaposition, isn't it?
¿Qué? Oh, your family is very strange, Annie. Pues, we have enough bolitas. Are you ready to make some tortillas?
Are you gonna teach me?
Sure. Miguel will be home soon, so we better get started. We're going to make them flat and round. Pero todos deben ser iguales. They all have to be the same size. ¿Está bien? So you go like this, very fast. No, not like that. Not slow like you're in mud. Like this. Rápido. Pero no tan duro, not so hard. Bueno. And when you do this with your hands, it's moving around in a circle.
Okay, I get it.
Muy bien, muy bien. Now you put it in la plancha on the heat. Now we do it again.
Oh.
Está bien. Póngala en la plancha. Now it's time to turn these over.
Okay, should I get a spatula?
Oh, no. You just do this.
Oh.
Okay, let me do it. You will burn yourself. Muy bien. That's better. Now we make more bolitas. Oh, Miguel is here. I must bring him some tortillas.
Oh, here, he can try mine. Did he like them?
Aquí están, Miguel. I made these tortillas. They are better.
What did he say, Lydia?
He said it was como una llanta, like a tire. Pero está bien, you're learning. I gave him some of mine. Let's make some more. Why don't you just make the bolitas?
Lydia, is everything okay?
See, of course.
Do the men ever make the tortillas?
The men? Ay, los hombres no.
2009, we devised a piece about the lives of victims and survivors of the Triangle Shirtwaist Factory fire of 1911. It was the first Lilith show that I did the scenic design for so long ago. And in 2011, for the 100th anniversary of the fire, we performed the piece Fabric, Flames, and Fervor at Manhattan Theater Source, within sight of the Ash building where the fire had taken place. In this scene, we'll meet two of the immigrant garment workers on a hot summer night trying to cool off on the roof of their tenement building.
Hello, America. Are you there? Are you sitting awake with me tonight? And where am I tonight? How is it that I sit up here all alone and lonesome in a city that is so crowded, eh? There is a living being crammed on every side of me when I work, when I walk, when I wake, and when I sleep. I have deduced that I am living in some sort of womb.
Waiting to be born, eh? Couldn't sleep?
No, I didn't know anyone else was up here. I'm sorry to wake you.
Too much snoring in my flat. I'd rather sleep in the open air anyway. The air inside is too thick. It doesn't fit into my lungs.
But it fits into your nose somehow.
I think this must be what God feels like, looking down on us.
But I can't see anyone. I know they're down there, but... well, I guess it's just too crowded to find anyone. It wasn't crowded like this in Russia. It's funny, but when I pictured being in America, I pictured being taller.
Taller?
Yes, I pictured myself being able to see very far in all directions. Funny that the things we picture.
My mother said she pictured a feather bed.
In a house? Where is that, America?
Maybe in New Jersey. I have a cousin that moved there last spring when she got married. She doesn't work now, and she does have a feather bed.
Even if I had all the money in the world, even if I had a feather bed, I would want to work.
You would? I would sleep every day until 8, or even 9. I would spend my days walking on the promenade and eating ice cream. I would go to the theater every night and go to Coney Island every weekend. Who wants to work? Who wants hands like these? Babushka hands at 17 years old.
That's just it. I don't want to work with my hands. I want to do something with my head, my feelings. All day long, only with my hands I work. My head is so full with the things that I want to do.
You want to design? Design shirtwaists?
Oh, absolutely not. I don't want to look on waists. If my hands are sick from waists, how could my head put beauty into them?
What do you want?
I want to speak. I want to share my words. I look at this building, this city, this world, and I think things don't change much, but they could. I want to ask questions. I want to tell answers to. I want Oh, how can I even know? I've never had a moment to know what work I should do because every minute I'm working.
All right, Socrates. You're worse than those buzzards snoring downstairs.
I'm sorry. You go back to sleep. Good night, America. Wherever you are.
The next show is Choices, which is very special to me because it's what brought me to Looking for Lilith. It's an interactive play on cyberbullying and suicide, and it was made in 2009. And the next year, they started touring the school. Started touring the show in schools, and that's how they found me. They came to Fern Creek and showed us the show, and they decided that they wanted to pull actors from Fern Creek to see if they wanted to be in the first student version of the show. So I auditioned, and then I came in the show, and I've been here ever since. So I love this piece because it's about a serious topic, and I feel like everyone should see this piece because even if you don't know someone who's dealing with this situation, it's good to know the signs so we can help someone. And yeah, we'll show you.
Hey, girl.
Hey,
What's up? Are you okay?
you should know.
What do you mean? Don't tell me you're still upset about that after-school app and all that Snapchat crap. Listen, if you can't let it go, then do something.
No, I can't. I mean, if my mom found out,
Then you have to let it go.
I mean, that's easy for you to say. You're not the one being targeted.
You're taking this way too seriously. I mean, Evan would never believe all that stuff.
But he hasn't talked to me in like a week. And it just feels weird even going to my locker. It feels like everyone's staring at me and laughing behind my back. You don't get it.
Okay. Listen, I called you like 3 times last night, and you didn't call me back. What's up with that?
I know, I'm into. I was just really busy.
Yeah, the busy life of a party animal.
Don't you start. I'm not a party animal.
Okay, it was just a joke.
Well, it's not funny.
I said I didn't mean it. Look, if you're not going to talk to me...
Okay, I'm sorry. I know. My mom just got in a fight about some messages last night, and she doesn't understand.
Oh my god, my mom drives me crazy. Can you talk to me, okay? So what's going on?
It's just that, well...
God, Hannah, we've been friends for like forever. What is it? What's that? Hannah, what's going on? Why do you have a lighter?
Nothing, Abby. Just mind your business.
Whatever.
Hey, I'm glad you called.
Really? Because I've been trying to get a hold of you, sis. But your phone goes straight to voicemail.
I know, I'm sorry. There's been a lot going on. I've had my phone on silent. But I really am glad you called. I've been meaning to call you back. I'm always thinking. Remember you read me all those Harry Potter books?
Yeah, of course.
Well, I was going to send them to you.
But you love those books. That's why I left them with you.
Fine. But I really wanted you to have them.
Dude, I don't have space for them here.
Okay. Well, they'll be on the second shelf of my bookcase.
You sound possessed. Is something going on?
No, well, just some kids at school are being jerks.
Yeah, that happens. You know, when you go to college, it's a totally different story.
Yeah.
If you were my little brother, I'd say whoop 'em. But you're my little sister. So I guess just ignore them or whatever you do, you know.
Sure, right. Ignore them. Sticks and stones. Listen, I gotta go. I have a report to write. Sam, you're a great big brother. I love you.
I love you too, Hannah Bear.
Goodbye.
That might right my eyeballs right here. Who did that? All right, so in 2013, we addressed the many roads that lead to motherhood, as many within the ensemble were making that journey themselves and becoming keenly aware of the messages that bombard us about what the role of mother means. You saved the center for me. I did not. It just works though.
Yeah, you know why I stood to the side.
It's okay. It's the first time I'm never gonna get mad for being typecasted.
Honey, I'm going to get online and order some diapers. I mean, the baby is coming soon, and I figure we need to have that end of it worked out, right? I'm just going to take a few minutes. Cloth or disposable? Let's see what's out there.
Mothers and fathers, we know as you prepare to bring your bundle of joy into the world, you're concerned for the world that they will one day inherit. We know that you want the best choice for your baby and the environment that she will live in for the rest of her life. So we here at Green Cloth Diapers make sure our diapers do as little damage to the environment as possible. And cloth diapers are easier than you might have heard. Just wash, wear, and rest assured that you and your family are reducing your carbon footprint. Green diapers for the conscientious mom.
Well, that seems like exactly the kind of thing I'm looking for. I want to be responsible to the environment, but I also want diapers that are going to be effective. I mean, we've never done this before. I'll just look at a few more sites.
It's a challenging time in a mommy's life. You worry about security. The security of your home, your family, your job, and most importantly, the security of your baby's diaper. And we here at Fort Knox Diapers offer you the patented ultimate leak lock system. Nothing escapes these diapers. Not even the dreaded diaper blowout. Fort Knox Diapers. For your security.
Oh, I hadn't thought about that. Blowouts sound messy and even dangerous. Is there something this secure in a cloth diaper? I better keep looking.
Hey there, moms. We know just what you're thinking. You want the best diaper, but also the cutest diaper. Cute as a baby's butt diapers. The most high fashion, glamorous diaper that your baby must have. Haven't you wanted a diaper to match your diaper bag? And your mommy outfit. All of our diapers come with matching mommy pants. Cute as a baby's butt diapers for the fashionista mom.
I'm going to be a terrible mom. I didn't even think about my baby's fashion needs.
Yes, finally. It has always been important to us to tell stories by, with, and for our communities. In 2015, we created Prevailing Winds based on interviews with residents, industry workers, environmental activists, and other stakeholders in Louisville's Rubbertown and surrounding neighborhoods. We came to learn that all Louisville citizens are impacted by the activities of Rubbertown, whether we are aware or not.
What we do at the different Rubbertown plants, everyone receives the benefit, but they have no idea that they're actually getting it every hour of every day.
5 a.m. My alarm goes off.
Good morning. Please start your day with the engineered polymer that is part of this electronic application.
What?
Without the polymers engineered at Lubrizol, this alarm clock wouldn't have gone off.
7 a.m. Kids off to the bus and it's the 4th cup of coffee. No Keurig in this household, not even a Mr. Coffee with paper filters. I use a French press to minimize the waste.
Your coffee, made with the help of acetylene.
I'm sorry?
With water boiled on your metal stovetop, which was welded together with acetylene manufactured at Carbide Industries.
9 a.m. Into the car.
Brought to you by American.
Now this is an obvious one. American synthetic rubber, right? Tires, hoses, bumper, all in my car, moving through the city. That beautiful steel skyline that stays upright because of the calcium carbide in the steel that makes it strong and flexible at the same time.
Your computer, ma'am, and your phone, and your tablet.
11 a.m. and I'm deep into the magic of the interwebs. All the tiny components in each of these devices that are born from the polymers, the rubber, the acetylene at those factories in the West End. All those inconvenient things being created that make my world so convenient. 1 p.m.
You should eat something. An apple, maybe?
Yeah, okay. I get what's going on here, but an apple? What the hell does that have to do with industry?
Nourished by the agricultural lime known as calcium hydroxide, made at Carbide Industries.
3 p.m.
Enjoy this chair.
4 p.m.
Have a pencil, stand on the vinyl floor, look at the paint on the wall.
5 p.m.
Drive your car, stop at the store, use a grocery cart, put your produce in a plastic bag.
6 p.m.
Take your food from your frosty refrigerator, put it in your gas stove, use a non-stick pan, listen to a CD.
7 p.m.
Brush your teeth, acetylene.
Wait, it's in my toothpaste?
Girl, it's in everything.
8 p.m.
TV, electric cord, circuit board.
9 p.m.
Did you check Facebook before bed?
Everybody has interactions with things that are welded out of acetylene. Everybody encounters steel that is strengthened by the addition of calcium carbide. Everybody eats food off farms whose fields are nourished and neutralized by the calcium hydroxide, but they don't know any of it. They might know the plants are there, but they may not appreciate why the plants are there. So give up your modern lifestyle. Give up all your products, your plastics, give up all those petroleum products, all of your fossil fuels, and go back to living in log cabins and make everything we need out of scraps of cotton and lamb's wool. And that's it.
After the election of Donald Trump, it felt imperative to the Ensemble to devise a response to the changing culture of our nation. We Are Here was performed by an ensemble of 2 Black, 2 white, and 2 Latinx actors and dealt with the difficult issues of systemic oppression. In this scene, a young football player talks with his mother about his decision to kneel during the national anthem.
You gonna talk to me? Or are you just gonna say nothing like you did on the ride home? Are you mad? I thought you would be proud of me.
Of course I'm proud of you. That will never change.
Well, why didn't you defend me? Why, Mom?
What you have to learn, son, is that it's not always easy to be where I am. I defend you every day of my life. I'm your mother. I make sure that I'm at every one of your academic meets, every award ceremony, every game, and I always root for you in those stands. And I'm the assistant principal at your school. I also stand there in the crowd and watch those off-duty cops. Make sure they're doing their job.
Okay, I get that. Mom, I couldn't ask for a better mom if I tried. But what does any of that have to do with this?
I'm talking about self-preservation. Picking your battles. I'm here. Always. And I'll do as much as I can, but I can't always be around. And as much as you want to be right, and you are right, you can't always win. Was it wrong for them to kick you out of the game? Yes, it was. But look at those people in the stands booing. You think they give a shit about your beliefs? About you? All they see is a black boy disrespecting their flag, veterans, their country.
But that's not what I was doing.
I know that, but it's just not what they see though. They see a child who doesn't know what they're doing. They see an inconvenience. They see a target.
Well, I'll be that then. If that's the price I have to pay, getting kicked out of the game, being bullied just for kneeling for what I know is right.
But it's so much more than that. Not only are you the only black starter on the football team, you're now the black kid who's causing trouble.
I'm not that kid. I'm not some thug or whatever. I've been on the honor roll my entire life. I'm a straight A student. Shoot, you're the school administrator and I'm your son. What makes you think that
being a straight A student, being my son, that won't save you from some random person trying to kill you. That's what I mean by self-preservation.
So I'm supposed to just stand for something I don't believe in. A song that talks about the ever-expandable black body. I'm supposed to ignore that our national anthem disengraded black people?
You just can't change some people's minds. And you have to know when to pull back so that you can keep coming back to fight later. What?
I just never would have expected this from you. Just sounds like you want me to play the game.
Please, this is not what this is.
Oh, sure it isn't.
Oh, come on, Marcus, you're smarter than that.
Yeah. Well, I can recognize respectability politics when I see it. And I'm smart enough to know that my mom wants me to just keep quiet and not make any waves so it doesn't pose a threat to her job. How about I'm smart enough to know the difference between right and wrong? And that this is bigger than worrying about pissing off a few ignorant bigots on a Friday night football game.
Marcus, did I ever tell you about the time that I got kicked out of class?
You? Really?
Oh yeah. It was in my 7th grade social studies class. We were in the middle of our unit about slavery. The teacher proceeds one day to tell the class that black people sold their own kind and that they willingly went. And the room went silent. I raised my hand, as polite young women do, and I simply told her, "You're wrong. If someone had a gun to your head and told you to get on a boat, and would you stop to think about it, or would you get on that boat?" Her mouth tightens, and then she goes, "That's enough out of you, Missy." That was always her warning. So I knew what was coming. So I went ahead and I stood up and said, "Slavery was not a choice. You are a despicable teacher who should not be in the classroom with students of color." She had me written up and kicked out of class for being loud and belligerent.
All because you stood up for yourself.
And for what? She never changed. As far as I know, she died a hateful old woman who was still threatened by the very presence of a black person, let alone our intellect. You're about to start applying to colleges. You can't have it on your record that you got in trouble for fighting another boy on the football field.
I wasn't fighting. He pushed me.
Yeah, I know that, but admissions officers won't call you up to hear your side of the story.
But that's not fair.
I know it's not fair, but that's how it is.
But that's why I do what I do. Because things aren't fair. But I don't have to just accept that. That's why I'm kneeling. I don't know how to not represent what I believe. I mean, that's what you've taught me. That's who I am.
I know. And I love you for that. And you're just not seeing the big picture. If you won't stand for yourself, can you please stand up for me? Please.
My first show with Looking for Lilith was Defining Infinity, a devised piece about gender and sexuality spectrums. In this scene, we explore how messages about gender are conveyed to us from the adults in our lives from a very young age.
Tommy, what are you doing? Boys don't play with dolls. You could have a G.I. Joe. He's not a doll, he's a soldier because he's a boy. You don't want people to think you're a sissy. Go and get your dump truck and play with that. Now, Tommy, I don't want to have to repeat myself. Put your sister's Barbie dolls away and go get your dump truck like a good boy. Do you need to say something? There it is. Yes, sir. Go on.
Wasn't that fun, Vanessa? You're really good at throwing that ball, honey. Well, your skirt will wash off. And you know, next time you want to throw around your football with your old mom, you can wear jeans. Girls can wear and do anything they want to. If you want a fire truck, you can have a fire truck. If you want a cowboy outfit, you can have it. Well, no. Not your daddy's razor. You can't have that. My razor is for my legs, not my face. You want to wait to shave your legs as long as you can. Because once you shave them, the hair comes back dark and thick. Yeah, like a boy. Oh, well, no, that's different than doing boy things. When you play sports or are really good at math, it shows everyone that you are strong and smart and fast and brave, just like a boy. But you don't want your legs to look like a boy's.
Well, did you ask Sandy? And she said she's a boy. I mean, he's a boy. So that answers your question, Jordan. I know he has boobs. Yes, that's different. A person can be born with girl parts, but know they're a boy inside. Or the other way. Transgender. And you know, Cousin Leo, you can call Leo he or she or they, all of the above. That's how it can be for some people too. A person can know they're kind of both a boy and a girl, or neither. Isn't that neat? There are infinite possibilities. Infinity means it goes on and on and on. No end.
Our most recent devised work, the Kentucky Suffrage Project, took many twists and turns during the pandemic and manifested itself as 8 short films we nicknamed Suffrage TV and 28 performances of a site-specific driving and walking play through the streets of Louisville. One piece of writing that inspired us throughout was Alice Duer Miller's book, Are Women People? A book of rhymes for suffrage times. Written in response to the anti-suffrage propaganda of the day, her poetry raises questions about women and the franchise through the tongue-in-cheek anti-suffrage messaging.
Four poems by Alice Duer Miller. First, are women people?
Father, what is legislature?
A representative of the body elected by the people of the state.
Are women people?
No, my son. Criminals, lunatics, and women are not people.
Do legislators legislate for nothing?
Oh no, they're paid a salary.
By whom?
By the people.
Are women people?
Of course, my son, just as much as men are.
Home, and where it is.
Home is where the husband is, be it near or be far. Office, theater, pool man car, pool room, pools, or corner bar. All good wives remember this. Home is where the husband is. Women's place is home, I wise. Leave your family bacon frying. Leave your wash and dishes drying. Leave your little children crying. Join your husband, near and far, at the club or corner bar. For the court has taught us this. Home is where the husband is.
Why we oppose pockets for women.
Because pockets are not a natural right.
Because the great majority of women do not want pockets. If they did, they would have them.
Because whenever women have had pockets, they have not used them.
Because women are required to carry enough things as it is without the additional burden of pockets.
Because it would make decisions between the husband and wife as to whose pockets were to be filled.
Because it would destroy man's chivalry toward women if he did not have to carry all her things in his pockets.
Because men are men and women are women. We must not fly in the face of nature.
Because pockets have been used by men to carry tobacco, pipes, whiskey, flasks, chewing gum, and compromising letters. We see no reason to suppose that women would use them more wisely.
This concludes our first act of Lilith Originals, and the beautiful Holly has a little announcement.
Hey y'all, how you doing tonight? Oh. Okay, before we take a brief intermission, we would like to acknowledge that throughout the last 2 decades, our work has been lifted up, inspired, and supported by you, our loyal family. Thank you. If you are able, we invite you to give 20 for 20 tonight, $20 for our 20th birthday. If you recently gave through Good for Louisville, thank you. Give for Good Louisville, thank you so much. Your donation in any amount will help lift underheard voices like the ones you've been hearing tonight and support our community and educational outreach programs. There are many ways to give. You can, look, I'm upside down. You can scan the QR code on the back of your program or around the park.
LFLKs, as they call themselves, the Looking for Lilith kids, have bags. We are not above exploiting our children's future.
Exactly. You can also text LFL20 to 44321, or you can visit Brenda, who is also my mother.
We're not above exploiting our parents either.
Exactly. Who's somewhere up maybe near the booth up there, or she will be in a minute. And then also in the tradition of Doug Ramey, right here on the stage in Kentucky's beautiful amphitheater, you can also visit one of our donation stations and drop a dime, a dollar, or any other donation into that donation barrel bag. Whether or however you're able to give, we also invite you to pick up a 20th anniversary button.
We actually have whole swag bags.
Yes, and a cookie.
Complimentary bag with a button, a bumper sticker, a laptop sticker. Yes.
All kinds of stuff. So no matter what you give, or even if you can't, make sure to pick one of those up. The bathrooms are in the rear. Do they need the key, or are they open?
Brenda has the key.
All right. Brenda is on it. And we're going to gather again in about 10 minutes or so. So enjoy your intermission, and thank you again so very much for your support.
One more thing during the intermission.
One more thing. It involves free food.
Yes.
So listen.
Oh, yes.
In lieu of a birthday cake, we have these COVID-friendly birthday celebration snacks, individually wrapped, where the amazing Happy Camper Confectionery Bakery replicated the 20th anniversary logo in frosting. There's one for everybody. Lindsay and Meg are handing out cookies. As we regroup, could I get a wave from anybody here who is now or has ever been a Looking for Lilith board member? Let's applaud for that. Can I get a wave from everyone who is a Lilith Ensemble member? Can I get a wave from all of our teaching artists? That's some of the same people again. Yeah, all right. Over to you, Holly.
Woohoo! All right, is everybody ready for Act 2? Look, I found a guitar pick. All right, guys. So, we're going to take another little trip back in time here. So Looking for Lilith was born in New York City in 2001. However, I was spending my time right here in this Central Park. But in 2016, I had the unique opportunity to make my first ever trip to New York City with Looking for Lilith. An avid photographer and videographer, I loaded up my cameras and traveled up with the tech crew to 59 East Street to assist with tech and to document the New York premiere of Robin Rice's Alice in Black and White. Born in 1886 in Staten Island, Alice Austin was one of America's earliest and most prolific female photographers. Looking for Lilith heard her voice loud and clear. We produced the world premiere of Alice right down the street at the Mex Theater in 2013, and then again in 2017. And with the help and support of playwright Robin Rice, we brought the story of Alice and the ensemble of LFL back home to New York City to sold out crowds. Join us tonight as we cross the river of time and picture the world of Alice Austin and Gertrude Tate.
What are you reading?
Madame Bovary.
Scandalous!
It's in French, so my parents don't know.
You can read French?
I taught myself from my brother's school books.
You can read French in? Do you know a Luna moth?
Did you ever notice that a drop of dew on a blade of grass will slowly, ever so slowly, travel up the blade to the tip?
You've gotten up at dawn and gotten eye level with the grass and watched dewdrops?
In wildness is the preservation of the world.
I once had a sparrow alight upon my shoulder, and I felt I was more distinguished by that circumstance than I should have been.
By any epithet I could have worn. Mr. Thoreau is a god.
And Mr. Emerson, too.
Margaret Fuller, too. Two persons love in one another the future good which they aid one another to unfold. What you do is admirable. All I do is teach charm, deportment, and ballroom dancing. Perhaps you'd like to visit. I'll take my class out to dance into the ginkgos for your camera. I love the human form in nature. Oh gosh, I'm talking too much. Assuming too much. I do that. I talk and assume too much.
Where do you live?
Jackson Heights.
Only a day's ride. Help me down?
I love those two actors and those two roles. And now we get to see Laura do something completely different. From the beginning, we've had a commitment to producing feminist playwrights, and in the last several years, that commitment is focused on local playwrights. We've been proud to workshop pieces, work closely with the writers, and premiere their pieces locally. In 2008, we first met Basil Kremendall at an open devising session for Fabric, Flames, and Fervor. And 6 years later, we were proud to produce their modern Western Sidewinders, which follows cowpokes Dakota and Bailey as they explore the landscape of gender.
This is me being a friend to you. Now drop your trousers, cowpoke.
A person pointing a gun at me ain't no kind of friend I ever heard of.
Trousers to the ankles.
I have changed my mind.
You lily-livered gizzard wad.
I refuse.
I am gonna count to 3. You best start undoing that belt buckle or I am gonna start firing. First time I shoot, well, I'm probably gonna miss you. Really close though. Second time I shoot, I'll miss you again. But it'll be close. Close enough to have you pissing out of whatever instrument you're working with down there. If I gotta fire this pistol 3 times at you, if I gotta cock and pull this trigger 3 times, likely I will draw blood. Grace wound. I might burn the gaping hole, I might dress it, pour some whiskey on it, but do not think, after all of that I will still not be expecting them britches to say hello to the ground.
No.
Give me a peek. I said I'd be honest with you, I swore to that.
I said no.
Did we or did we?
Not.
Did.
Did not.
Did too.
Did.
Did too. You and I just did go back and forth. You crying, me ever the reasonable. You screaming, me rational. You begging, me holding strong. You
what?
We just went all round about your lack of or misunderstanding of or what have you. Yeah. Organ confusion. I beg your pardon?
It is a...
Stand down.
Nothing but a...
Okay, excuse me, sir. Ma'am. Sir. Ma'am?
It is just a...
I have never heard of such a thing.
It is true.
No one has a... No one plays with their... No one pays to see other people's... And if someone did have a... They sure would not want to rub it all over it. I would not. But of course I have a... Well, it sure ain't a... Or a... Drop your britches. We're going to solve this mystery here once and for all.
There is bigger mysteries to solve. Our next piece is from a show we produced at the MEX in 2018. It is by Louisville playwright Diana Grisanti, and it explores our responsibility to help each other and what can happen when our instinct to help goes terribly wrong. This is from the patron saint of losing sleep.
I can't sleep. I tried yoga, whale song, but still, no sleep. None. And the book, that's why I'm calling the book, it isn't helping. Can I get a refund? What about a voucher? Do you offer any supplemental material that will further enlighten me?
Okay, ma'am. I do apologize for the inconvenience. Could I get your customer code identification code, please?
I don't have a code.
It should be on your e-receipt, ma'am, in the upper right-hand corner.
The number with letters or the number with numbers?
The number with numbers, please.
077-858585--2.
Okay. It looks like you purchased Coping with Guilt and Regret, a workbook for the working woman by Dr. Carol Neubauer.
What's your name?
My name is Marla, ma'am.
Aren't you going to ask for my name?
We usually track our customers by their identification codes.
My name is Ada. I work at a call center. I know all the tricks.
I'm not trying to trick you, ma'am.
I'm disappointed with your book.
Strictly speaking, the item you purchased is not a book, but a document.
I have to go to work. I want my money back.
I do apologize you feel that way. But we have a strict no-return policy.
I know what you're going to say. I should see a therapist.
All right, ma'am. I want to make clear I was not going to say that.
Therapists cost money, and I don't have any money, and now I've wasted $7.99 on your stupid document.
The document you purchased for only $7.99 was written by Dr. Carol Neubauer, world-renowned scholar of the mind.
There's a page missing.
Oh, that is something we can certainly remedy. Only, could you provide me with the number of the missing page?
It's the very last page. It's blurry.
Is it blurry or missing? Because I bet it's not both.
Blurry.
Odds are that's a problem on your end.
What's on the last page?
Oh, that would be the author's bio, ma'am.
Read it to me.
Will do.
Dr. Carol Neubauer has penned over 300 documents dealing with guilt, regret, anxiety, fear, failure, the pursuit of happiness, the agony of defeat, PTSD, OCD, and bulimia. She divides her time between Paris, London, and Colonial Williamsburg. There's an author photo, too, if you'd like me to describe it.
Yes, please.
The doctor is extremely beautiful. She has curvy lips and well-defined shoulders. She's the kind of woman whose hair goes gray in just the right way. A perfect streak of silver right down the side of her face.
Oh, my. She is beautiful. How did her hair go gray in just the right way?
She's an excellent doctor.
Marla?
No.
You're not Marla.
I'm Carol. Dr. Carol. Welcome to Coping with Guilt and Regret, a workbook for the working woman by me, Dr. Carol Neubauer, MBA, PhD, fellow adventurer on this voyage that is life. No matter where you are on your path, remember this. You are still walking. You are still walking. How's your sleep?
Bad.
2 hours? 3?
0. I slept 0 hours last night. Also the night before. 0 plus 0 equals 48 hours of waking life.
Your body won't stop moving.
That's right.
Your mind won't stop racing. And you're racked with guilt.
Yes, very racked.
Ah, but guilt is built, you see. Guilt is built upon regrets. I would like for you to make a list.
A list?
A list of your regrets. In reverse chronological order, if you don't mind.
I don't mind. I shouldn't have flown to Florida.
Mm-hmm.
I shouldn't have made a promise I couldn't keep.
Uh-huh.
I shouldn't have taken a job in customer service.
Ah.
I shouldn't have gone to divinity school.
Oh?
I went to divinity school for a little while.
A woman of the cloth.
No cloth. I'm Catholic and female. I mean, I'm not really Catholic. Culturally, yes, and kind of spiritually, semi-politically, but skeptically, I'm a skeptic Catholic. Anyway, I shouldn't have gone to divinity school. I don't really believe in God. I'm sorry. I'm going on. Sorry.
Don't apologize. Never apologize.
Sorry. I mean, I'm supposed to be at work in 20 minutes.
I would advise you to leave.
I haven't showered.
Leave your job, Ada. Don't like customer service? Quit. Make a radical change.
No, I can't do that.
I call it a life vacation. It's a term I coined in my first document, Vacationing Life.
I can't afford to vacation my life. It's really hard to find work right now. When I moved here, I applied to 187 places. Retail, restaurant, tutoring, babysitting, pet sitting, data entry, warehouse. I said I could lift 50 pounds. I have no idea if I can lift 50 pounds. Like, how much is that? Like a 10-year-old or a large dog?
Once your mind is clear, your path will reveal itself. I want to share some of myself with you. 15 years ago, I was living high on the hog. Corporate job, high 6 figures, intercourse with gorgeous men wearing expensive suits. But was I happy? Do you think I was happy?
I'm guessing...
No, I was not. So I left that job and that salary and those many sex partners. And look at me now. I used to have wrinkles on my forehead. Where did those wrinkles go, Ada? Where did they go?
I don't know.
Those wrinkles stayed right where they belong, in the sphincter of corporate America. I made the change, Ada. So can you.
But I had no prospects.
That's a lie we tell ourselves.
And no savings.
Touch my hair.
It's so soft.
I know.
It's so silver.
I know.
You're right. I should vacation my life.
Yes.
I should quit my job.
Yes.
Just kidding. Over the years, we have collaborated in many ways with Ali For Real, who has joined us as an actor and a teaching artist, and once moved a refrigerator up 4 flights of stairs. In 2019, we premiered Note, Ali's metafictional play that sheds brave light on the navigation of mental health.
It's the little things, right? I take drugs every day. in the morning and with dinner. I put timers in my phone. They have a song, Biggie's 10 Crack Commandments. My shrinks got me doing these workbooks. Cognitive behavioral therapy, CBT. It's so straightforward. Techniques. Sometimes it's really obvious, stupid things. Pick a happy memory. Did I ever tell you that Harry Potter saved my life? I was in bad shape. There was a boy. This was back when I blamed everything on boys. Back in the stealing wine bottles from the cellar stage. Back in high school. But we're not high, we're drunk. My friend and I used to say that. Later, she found Jesus and became a virgin again. Is there cream for that? You put ointment on your... A new Harry Potter book came out. I go to the bookstores to get it at midnight because I loved those books. Inside the bookstore, there are wizards, kids in cloaks, a guy with a parrot on his shoulder, all hanging out at the bookstore just waiting. People having wand duels. And I just sat there with my book, watching. There was this girl across the aisle, and we caught each other's eyes. I can't always talk to people, but I don't want to be alone. The perfect in between. You feel a big thing. You look up and you catch someone's eyes, and they are having the same feeling you are. You can just tell from their eyes, their look. I recognize you, is what the look says. She was a Gryffindor. She had a scarf. We never spoke. It was perfect. I didn't cry this morning. I went for a walk and got a tiny bit day drunk and watched a magician do tricks for tourists. The one where the dollar bill ends up in the lemon blows their mind. This tourist, some kid on a school trip, I think, looked up and caught my eyes. I recognized you. I looked over, and the magician was looking in my eyes. I recognized you. I looked around, and I recognized everyone. I was on a planet I understood with people I could... And I thought, I'm gonna make it. I'm gonna be okay.
After the death of Kathy E.B. Ellis in 2019, our ensemble began to work through our own grief as a community through working with Aaron Fitzgerald on the premiere of their Good Grief, a play centered on the irrelevant grief support group. On March 12th of 2020, we were loading into the Kentucky Center for our Tech Week when the world shut down. The themes of Good Grief became even more relevant in this mess that was 2020. And we pivoted and released our first ever full-length virtual production of Good Grief 1 year later. So cheers. Thank you, Aaron, for taking us from the stage to the movies.
You might be wondering what kind of twisted weirdo would start up an irreverent grief support group. Ta-da! Hello, my name is Claudia, and I am a twisted weirdo. I come to this group every week because, well, hell, I started the damn thing, so may as well see it through. I mean, I guess I could just bail, but that would be a little asshole-ish, don't you think? Okay, but seriously, I will try to refrain from saying asshole too many times, not making any promises, but I will try. Yeah, in fact, I will tell you what, donation.
Yeah.
Every time I say a bad word, I will drop a coin into this bag, and maybe that'll help hold me accountable. So, truth is, I didn't mean to start the group. I was just trying to join a group, you know. So first off, I tried, through insurance, maybe with a counselor involved, but right off the bat, I was, are you ready for this? Turned down for grief support. Twice. Yeah, isn't that some bullshit? Yeah, so denied because I'd not been diagnosed with any sort of mental health condition. Yeah, can you believe that shit? Yeah, so never mind that after I lost my mother, I fell into the deepest, darkest funk that I had ever felt in my entire life. And never mind that at the very same time that I was going through that, I lost my own shot at becoming a mom myself. And never mind that it felt like, my heart had just been ripped right out of my chest and the lungs squeezed until there was no way for air to get in. Yeah. Never mind all that. Fucking insurance companies. So anyway, I eventually got so depressed from not having any way to deal with the grief that I was diagnosed with severe acute depression. And so then the insurance company decided I qualified for treatment. But what happened next was that I got asked to leave after about 3 meetings. See, my way of expressing grief, which, sometimes involves a lot of cussing and defensiveness and irreverent jokes and whatnot. Well, apparently my ways of grieving got in the way of other people's healing or some shit. So, is my way of grieving my inappropriate behavior? Is it really all that freaking awful? Or unusual? Or inappropriate even? Because those fuckers, I'm sorry, you know what, I'm not sorry, I'm just, is it really fucking reasonable to expect people who are dealing with some of the most intense shit they have ever experienced in their entire lives to keep their shit together, all the time and not be assholes? Ever? Even while every facet of their fucking lives is just falling apart all around them. This is not a damn rhetorical question. I'm asking for real. Is this fucking reasonable? As long as I don't aim my anger directly at other people or try to tell them how they can or cannot express their grief, then why should anyone care how I express my fucking grief? So I decided to start my own group.
And it has been a lifesaver for me. So I keep coming back every week. Going on 2 years now. And so do a handful of other weirdos. Now I kind of feel sort of responsible for them. So as long as they keep showing up, so will I. And I hope that will be for a long time to come.
So as we near the end of our evening, we're going to go back to Crossing Mountains with the very first scene ever devised by Looking for Lilith. And just hearing Trina Fisher's Young Ruby takes me back to the summer of 2002. And I have to do a quick shout out because it was Miss Allison who asked me if I wanted to stage manage for a women's theater company. And I was like, yes, of course. So she's here tonight. So thank you, Mrs. Allison. I'm still here 20 years later. So I love these women, and I definitely would not be who I am today without them, because they definitely have made me the person that I always wanted to be. So I love you guys. So without further ado, Ruby, Young Ruby. Is she ready?
I think so. Let's hope so.
I came to the Heinemann Settlement School in the fall of 1928. A road had not even been built. We had to go part of the way in the creek, in what they call a mail hack, which was new to me. And I stayed until I graduated in 1934. I remember so well the night my father first took us to Heinemann.
It was growing dark on that Sunday in 1928 when I first met her. Miss May Stone, co-founder of the Hyman Settlement School. Papa had led my brother, my sister, and me on the cobblestone paths and up the steep wooden steps of hillside to find her. The three of us sat on the short, unpainted wooden bench in her office and listened as the two of them discussed whether or not there'd be room for the three of us.
This was on a Sunday night before school was to start on Monday. My father had been in the first official graduating class in 1911. The school had been here 9 years at that point, and well, this was where he wanted us to be. The picture of Miss Stone that night remains vivid still.
Her white hair, flat and wavy above her low forehead and drawn back into a bun, gold chain hanging from her glasses over blue eyes that were pleasant, alert, surveying.
But also accepting. Her gentle, low voice.
Her blue and white flowered dress with its lace collar, her matronly, buxom figure. I had never felt so dignified a presence.
It exuded from her and filled me with awe.
It did not take long for her to tell Papa that she would make room for us and direct us to the dormitories that would be our home for the next several years. That night, we started to incur a debt we would never be able to pay.
And listen, I am now 84 years old. One of the advantages of being older is you can, well, there's not many advantages. But this is one of them. You can look back over your life and see the decisions you made and the things that happened and how one thing led to another and so forth.
And I'm just so grateful
and
that
I
they
am
put
just
us
so
here.
grateful that they put us there.
I think Miss Stone was very understanding and realized that my father was on very rough times with 4 children and renting and trying to practice law right near the Depression.
In fact, once I asked Miss Watts, I said, you know, we never heard the Depression discussed at Hyman. How did you all feed us when we were all there during the Depression? And you know what she said? She said, well, we had this wonderful man in town, Elijah Hicks, who ran the grocery store. And he would just let us run that credit until we got the money to pay for it.
Isn't that wonderful?
Isn't that wonderful? I wrote a letter to Miss Watts on her 100th birthday. She came to the school at 19 to teach for a year, and she stayed for 83 and became the director when Miss Stone passed on. She was strict but fair and had a way of getting you to be true to your better self. In my letter, I, of course, congratulate her. The settlement was home for only 6 of my 84 years, but it laid the groundwork for my life.
Fashioning me into the person I was to become.
Memories come flooding back, and I have a list of things that really... Now, this came from the heart.
This wonderful person that is so busy and burdened with so many worries gathers us to read.
They gave us a whole new world. And I hope that will come out here, the things I am really grateful for. I remember
one night they got us all up and let us go up to the women's room to watch the eclipse of the moon. And I had never even heard of an eclipse. I didn't even know what one was.
Just think about how awesome that was. Awesome in the old sense. And how unselfish it was of them to give us that experience. And then
they asked us to write it up.
And my first sense of pride was when my description of the eclipse of the moon was put in a little booklet they put out. I can remember the color yet. It was yellow pages
with a green cover.
And it proved something to me. It made me feel like a Hemingway, you know?
Thank you.
The favorite thing I wanted to thank her for was silent climbs up Rest House Hill on Easter mornings to greet the sun.
We go up that little cow path of cobblestones. Nobody speaks a word. We go single file and we line up.
I don't know if we rehearsed. I don't think we rehearsed.
But we line up, all facing the east. And then somebody, who knows when, starts an Easter song.
I come to the garden alone,
while the dew is still on the roses, and the voice I hear falling on my ear, the Son of God discloses, and he walks with me, and he talks with me, and he tells me I am his own, and the joy we share as we tarry there, none other has ever known.
And then somebody had been asked to read a scripture.
Go quickly and tell his disciples that he is risen from the dead.
I shall never forget that. Hindman ruined me for sunrise service. And I wanted to thank her for that. For all of that. And the list is endless. A herald to the fact that the settlement answered the needs of a growing girl.
That's what it did. It answered the needs of a growing girl. Values. Acceptance. Ambition. Thank you.
We are about ready to close our evening together. One thing that we have always loved to do at Looking for Lilith is sing together. In COVID times, that's not necessarily safe, so we invite you to dance along if you would like. Claire's going to do a couple of songs from Good Grief. One that very much reflects the year 2020, and you're going to say something about the other one.
I'll try. I think that most of you here know, am I on? I'm on, right? That we at Looking for Lilith, we don't just make plays together. We are very intentional about being a community, even a family. And sometimes you need family that you're choosing, and you just gotta find your people. And I'm grateful to Shannon and Trina for inviting me to be their people. And I'm grateful for all of you for being our people.
Grief is a fucking trip. It just goes on and on and on and on and on and on and on. Up and down this washboard highway. Yeah, grief when you think of it. It's like some gravel off-road byway that twists and turns until your stomach turns. Oh, grief is a fucking trip. Where are your people? Gotta find your people. Whatever you do, this much is true. Gotta find your people. Are your people in a bar? Do your people ride a car? Do your people get the bus? Do your people make a fuss? Do your people wear shoes? Do your people sing the blues? Are your people in a park? Do they come out after dark? Where are your people? Gotta find your people. Whatever you do, this much is true. Gotta find your people.
V, I lost the lighter again. Okay.
Also, those of you that don't attend rehearsals should know that this is also a common occurrence where we have a candle but nothing to light it with, and we're like, who's got a lighter? Where are the matches?
And it is often V. All right, we're going to candle out. You don't have to take money and the heat and mosquitoes and COVID and politics back out of the candle. It is burned up. We now invite, just as we do at the end of a rehearsal, we invite the artists in the room to take with them something that they want to take from the evening. And we invite you all to do the same. You can have 3 words this time.
No.
Anybody want to call it out? Family, community.
Love.
Love, music.
Little T.
Your daughter is fabulous.
Woo! All my people.
All my people, yeah. Joy.
Community.
Gratitude.
Yeah.
History.
History.
Affiliate.
Affiliate. Yes. Affiliate. Pocket. You want to take something?
I don't know.
I'm gonna take 20 years, and I'm gonna dive into year 21 with my artistic partner and my artistic family. Here's to our birthday! Yay!
We wish for $1 million.
Hi, Trina. We love you.
If it wasn't COVID, we'd invite the whole company up here to take a bow, but I think all just wave.
It is very much our fervent hope that we will return to indoor theater in November. Tomorrow, the company is on retreat. We are working on digital story circle projects, which will premiere in November with a live component. There will be playback theater. There will be movement pieces. There may be sensory experiences. I don't really know. We've never done this before. Please come to the Mex in November if we can. Okay. Yay! Woo!